Well, it appears that NATO is going into Ukraine. What does that mean? You can look at this several ways, but the two ways I look at it is they've been goading Russia, no tanks, no F-16s, the pipeline getting blown up, the bridge getting blown up, attacks inside Russia, right? And Russia hasn't really bid on it. They haven't said, all right, this is it. We're going to start the big one, right? They haven't done it. Could it also be that they've reached a deal with Russia that they're going to send these people in? You got to stop and think. A lot of this stuff is smoke and mirrors. A lot of this stuff that happens is pre-planned between both sides, whether you want to agree to it or not. Both sides are in on it. Look what happened a few weeks ago with the Iran and the U.S. incident. We contacted them and pretty much told them when and where we was going to hit them to allow them to get their people out, right? A lot of this stuff is pre-planned. NATO already been in Ukraine, but now they're starting to put more and more in there, right? F-16s are coming. Who remembers what President Biden said? If we send tanks, F-16s, those are offensive weapons, right? It's going to start World War III pretty much. But now we have sent them and sending them, right? Not to mention all the money we're sending over there, all the money. Every time we turn around, they're wanting to send $1 billion, $2 billion, whatever. They just keep sending money to Ukraine, right, to help them. Who remembers a couple months ago that Putin was near death, right? He was sick and near death. Now he's flying nuclear bombers, They want to keep you on the edge of your seat. Now, what could happen from this? I don't know as far as would it start an all-out war. I don't know. Russia hasn't bit. When I say bit, they haven't really retaliated for anything that NATO, the USA, has done to them. They really haven't. The pipeline. They still haven't come out and said who blew that up. We all pretty much know who blew it up, right? The attacks inside of Russia with drones and things. We pretty much know where they're coming from too, and who's flying them and who's behind them, right? But yet, Biden, we don't want a war with Russia. But yet we're sending all this offensive weapons over there and billions of dollars to. I remember when this first started and we sent an aid package to Ukraine. I made a video saying, some of this aid is going to pay their retirement for the people in Ukraine. And some people's comment, you don't know what you're talking about, you're an idiot. Guess what? It was in there to help pay their retirement. Why are we doing that? If you're going to fund their military, that's one thing. But when you start funding their retirement plans and putting all this money in people's pockets over there so they can continue to live a normal life, right? And it goes back to how they treat us here in America. They'll fight over $600 for you and I to help you out. They'll fight for months over it. And then when they give you the $600, they act like, oh, you should just bow down and kiss their feet, right? But billions of dollars to Ukraine. With NATO being in there now, it's a touchy situation because if I was Russia, I would be like, oh, hell no, we're not doing this. I would have said that when they sent the F-16s and the tanks, right? Most of you would have too, right? But for some reason, Russia's not biting on it, right? They're not. I mean, we heard Russia threaten that, this is a red line here. You send this, you've crossed it, and that line keeps getting moved, right? Keeps getting moved, and we keep crossing it. Now, do I think a nuclear war is going to come from all this? I don't see a use for a nuclear weapon in Ukraine. A lot of channels are telling you that nukes are going to fly any minute. Canadian preppers, the world's worst, are telling you every day that we're one step closer to nuclear Armageddon, when honestly there's no need for a nuclear weapon to be used over there right now. I've told you, I see a nuclear weapon being used in the Middle East before ever in Ukraine, because they're more likely to use it over there if they got their hands on it, right? Russia, I think they pretty much know if we use a nuke, it's going to be pretty much the end of everything, right? Because everybody's who's got them is going to start launching them, But I don't see a need for Russia to use a nuclear weapon. Of course, you're going to see more and more videos come out on YouTube about how now that NATO's going in, Russia's going to have to use nuclear weapons. I never understood why Russia didn't steamroll Ukraine to start off with. I really didn't. I mean, if Russia put their full military force into Ukraine, they would have steamrolled it. You got to remember, shock and awe, that's what they kept telling us was going to happen, that, Russia's going to come in, they're going to knock out communications, they're going to, Air Force, ground assaults, missile assaults, everything. But Russia didn't really do that, right? They didn't. I always said it looked like Russia wanted to the river, and you can go back and check some older videos. It always looked like Russia wanted to the river, used the river as a natural border to their country, between Ukraine and Russia. And I got told I was an idiot over that, because you would think Russia would just be able to walk in and take what they want. You know, yes, Ukraine would put up a fight, but Russia has nukes, right? If you're so sure Russia's going to use nuclear weapons, why are you not so sure Russia couldn't steamroll Ukraine, right? But it's a money pit. There's something going on over there that we're not privy to as far as all this money's being sent over there. We're not into the information. I don't care if you got insider information or not. We're not sure where this money's going over there. There's something going on we don't know about. Because Russia, if you was another country and you told another country, do not send this to this country or this or that, right? And then that country does it, you're going to get mad and start fighting, right? But somehow Russia's not doing anything to the USA. They're not doing anything to Europe. They're not doing anything to any country that's sending the equipment over there, right? Even though they threaten to. One thing when the F-16s get there, where are they going to launch? Where is Ukraine going to launch their F-16s from? More than likely, they're going to come in from Poland, right? Well, Russia's done said they'll hit the air bases where these F-16s are. Now that's when it starts getting a little sketchy. If the F-16s launch from Poland and Russia attacks the Poland base where those F-16s start, then you get into an issue where NATO fully becomes involved in this, right? But don't get me wrong, NATO's been in there. It's nothing new. We've had troops there. We've had special forces, CIA spooks and things like that in there this whole time. But yet we just don't hear about it. But NATO has probably been there this whole time, but now it's becoming more public because they're going to send more, you know. Well, who remembers? I always say, remember your history. Vietnam, how did it start? Technical advisors, right? That's how Vietnam started. We put technical advisors in there, and then it was easier to get the military in, and then just roll on, right? Long ass war. What's going to come from this, I'm not sure, but I would keep my eyes and ears open to it, because at any minute Russia could retaliate. And I'm not saying Russia's going to use a nuke, but at any minute they could be like, we're tired of this, launch missiles over and hit this, and this, right? Hit NATO bases or something. Because something you would think would have to come from this. Because I don't see Russia willing to sit there and let NATO come into Ukraine without a fight. I really don't. I mean, and another thing, when you watch videos and news and things, here lately we're not getting much news on Ukraine and Russia, right? We're just getting little bits and pieces of it. We're not even hearing much about the Israel and Hamas stuff anymore, right? We're not even hearing much about that because it's old news. So what I'm telling you, when something's new in the news, it'll be hot for a couple days, maybe a week to 10 days, and then it's gone and they're on to something else. But we all know this is an election year here in America. Something big could happen before this election. Something big could happen. I don't know what it would be or what it could be, but it feels like something's coming. Most people can feel it like something's building up here. Something's got to happen. The pot can only boil so much till it boils over, right? And once it boils over, pick up the pieces, right? That's what I'm telling you. As a prepper, you're able to sit back and look at everything that's going on and not have to panic. You're able to take a deep breath and focus. And because honestly, as a prepper, all you can do is react to a situation. That's it. And you want to be able to react calmly, coolly, and have your preps, right? Have your stuff ready for when something happens. You know, I've said before, it's tax season, right? I know a lot of people want to go to the beach. A lot of people want to go to the mountains. They want to go buy a new TV. They want to go buy a new car. They want to do, you know, spend stuff on really stuff you don't really need, right? Take a little money and go put up some food and water, you know, self-protection items, things like that, you know. You really need to, because we're not getting any better here in the United States. We're not. This election, I hope it fixes us, but deep down, I don't think it's able to fix what's going on right now. The world is in too much chaos, too much turmoil. Everybody's economy is crap, and the only way to come out of a bad economy is start a war. Honestly, that's it. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person that can do it. Keep prepping. Stay safe. And if you're on a fence, you know, you got a little extra tax money left and you're like, kind of want to go to the casino for the weekend or something, maybe go buy some food and water with it, you know, and some protection items. You never know when something's going to happen. Stay safe, keep prepping, comment on this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you don't like it, hit the thumbs down on your way out the door. Stay safe and keep prepping.